Oh boy, what an interesting day it has been in the video game news world. I love being able to talk about this stuff just because it's so wild. I did not expect to fall out of bed this morning on a Monday and talk about Xbox and Microsoft acquiring ZeniMax and also Bethesda. Like, what? Just to mention it real quick for those of you that did miss the news, for apparently $7.5 billion dollars. Can we say how much? Can we emphasize how much that is without the Austin Powers reference? But seriously, $7.5 billion Microsoft is reportedly paying to acquire ZeniMax Media and everything below it, which is of course Bethesda, and then with that Bethesda Game Studios, Tango Gameworks, Arcane. There's so much, and it's just massive, and of course it leads to tons and tons of questions and speculation, because what we have from the sources are confirmations that this is going down, but the actual roadmap going forward is a little bit murky. Despite taking all day to process this news and taking notes and everything, this is probably still going to be all over the place, so good luck, buckle up, it might be a ride. So Phil Spencer from Xbox is saying that deals currently in place like Ghostwire Tokyo and Deathloop are still happening because that is how it is. And honestly, with Microsoft in the past, like with stuff like the Outer Worlds and how they bought Obsidian and they still let that go out, that's not a big surprise to me. Coming from Bloomberg, future Bethesda games will be on Xbox, PC, and then, and I quote, on other consoles on a case-by-case basis, where this is leading people to, are they going to make things exclusive or not? Is Fallout, is Elder Scrolls, are they going to be Xbox exclusives in the future or not? This can really go both ways, because in a lot of ways you can argue that no, because this is different than them acquiring a game studio under Xbox Game Studios. This is something much bigger than that. This is more of a Microsoft acquisition than an Xbox acquisition. Look at Minecraft. They bought Minecraft a few years ago for $2.5 billion. That's another big ass thing that they spent a big ass pile of money on. And Minecraft exists on every platform. You can play it on PlayStation, you can play it on Switch, you can play it on your grandma's smart fridge. I don't even know. So there is evidence and there is track record of Microsoft and Xbox working with these properties, the Outer Worlds I mentioned earlier and stuff like that, and then up to Minecraft, where they might be more forward thinking. They have done moves in the past that kind of benefit more than just them, with like cross-play and stuff like that. I don't know. I've seen a lot of people thinking that these games aren't going to go exclusive. You know, the next Elder Scrolls isn't going to be an Xbox PC exclusive or anything like that. But I also I'm not a business person. I don't know anything, but I can't help but feel like $7.5 billion, you spend that much money and it's just a big play for Game Pass. I feel like $7.5 billion goes beyond just Game Pass. It goes more towards the whole platform building of Microsoft. I don't think it's to sell an Xbox Series X or anything like that, but I think it's the whole big picture. And like, I feel like $7.5 billion, you're gonna want like some sort of return on investment eventually, right? Because Jesus. And that's also, a lot of that value is in the power of those brands. You know, Fallout is a juggernaut. The Elder Scrolls is crazy. All the id stuff, Doom, Quake, like it just goes on and on. And that's what I wanted to talk about more here, because like we can play the newsman stuff. I did it on Game Ranks today, but I think it's interesting that they are acquiring so much, especially like Quake. What happens to QuakeCon? Is it going to be Microsoft QuakeCon? But they're also acquiring id Tech, just the whole history of first-person shooters and all of that important classic PC retro stuff is all now under the umbrella of Microsoft. Pete Hines from Bethesda did say and suggest that business as usual, they're going to be able to make their games uninterrupted. They're going to be going about business uninterrupted, but also the exciting opportunities and all that type of jargon that being backed by Microsoft will provide. So this is where I think it could be interesting for Bethesda, because if you look at Bethesda the last couple of years, they went from being the best or one of the best to now people talk about them like they're EA. And I don't really subscribe to that rhetoric on whatever company you're talking about. But you can't deny that they have fallen out of public favor with the, general gaming consensus. They've done some moves that put them in hot water and upset some of their consumers. And I think part of the reason why they were forced to do those decisions were because they still wanted to grow and not lose out and stuff like that. But now I wonder if they're not on their own and they're backed by something much bigger, maybe they can focus on just making games and not feel like they are forced to do these monetization practices, to do all these moves that they have done that people haven't liked. That's probably me just wishful thinking. I know a lot of other people you may be watching will tell you to think the complete opposite. Why even think that that's going to happen when there's money to be made? Yeah, I totally get that. But that was really the first thing I had to think of, was like, oh, the some of the mindset, the business practices behind Bethesda and ZeniMax, are those going to change? Also, I just wonder in terms of big picture things, like there's so much to dissect here, like Doomslayer versus Master Chief. I know everybody was joking about that, but then there's more serious stuff, like is a Microsoft thing going to be down with putting out a game as edgy and controversial as the next Wolfenstein game? Are they going to market it the same way? I don't know about that. There's so many things that still need to be figured out with this that we're probably just going to discover as they do it. And if we're talking about things they're acquiring too, it's insane to mention the fact that Microsoft now has In Exile, they have Obsidian, and they have Bethesda. So yes, you can joke about, Bethesda and New Vegas too, with Obsidian and everything that could happen now. The bigger thing, I think, is that they just have all of the Western RPG power in their pocket. All the history, all of everything that comes with that. And I just think that's kind of wild. And also it kind of feels weird to all be under one company. There's a whole other video about the fact that big giant corporations buying another big thing and just getting bigger and bigger. Again, that's something I'm not smart enough if I can find someone, I'll probably suggest it on social media, somebody who breaks down that type of stuff much better than I. But I guess at face value, you can look at this and just go, oh, cool, we're getting Fallout and Skyrim and stuff on Game Pass, woohoo! But even as Game Pass grows, I'll totally be honest with you guys. I like Game Pass a lot. I subscribe to it. I enjoy it. I use it occasionally. Just like Netflix, I find myself just kind of scrolling through it forever going, what should I do? What should I do? And then 2 hours go by and I don't end up doing anything. But then we go into this whole other conversation about video game preservation and the history of video games and the slow death of physical media, which is something that you should at least keep an eye on, as if you are a Game Pass fan, as it gets better and better, remember that, these games need to be preserved. And by preserved, I mean like not just under one digital branch of a company, But I digress. This is a video where you can go all over the place, and I have gone all over the place. I just wanted to throw some opinions out there after sitting on it for a while, because like on Game Ranks, we made a reaction video this morning. I literally fell out of bed and we started working on it. But after sitting on it all day and just seeing what other people are saying, this is where I'm at now. I think it's interesting. I do think it's exciting. Sorry, I don't know. We'll have to see how this all rolls out. I do say that it's always interesting, that's for sure. Like, at least with video games, something's always happening. Something's always moving. Something's always changing. Something's always bad. Something's always good. There's at least always something going on. And for you guys out there who followed his inside baseball stuff, it's got to be really exciting. And I got to say, for me too, as somebody who's been working around this industry and talking about it, I like that there's always at least something to ponder, talk about, analyze, maybe even overanalyze to a dangerous degree. Anyway, I'm going to keep my existential thoughts to myself, so I want to hear from you guys in the comments, like what you're thinking about this whole acquisition. But just in raw actual, what does this mean? What is this gonna do? Maybe I don't like this because I'm a PlayStation player and I'm not gonna get access to these, or maybe I think these games belong. So I just want to hear your take regardless down in the comments. I've been saying this, but I really mean it. If you could have clicked on any other YouTuber with a thumbnail like this talking about this acquisition today, but you chose to click on me, so thank you for that. I appreciate it. If you want to click the like button too, I would appreciate that. But thank you guys for watching. I'm Jake Baldino. You can subscribe because video games. Pizza's on me.